Yo, listen up, here's the story about a little guy that lives in a blue world. And all day and all night, and everything he sees is just blue. Like him, inside and outside. Blue his house with a blue little window and a blue Corvette. And everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around. Cause he ain't got nobody to listen.
Okay, review of the game on the final screen.
Yeah.
The blue, horrible decision.
Yeah, blue is awful in some parts. Like, some parts it wasn't as blue and I didn't even notice it, but, like, a lot of the outside areas are just blue. Completely.
Yeah, like,
blue.
Please stop having the sort of mid-distance to distant distance be, like, a hazy color.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But the blue filter was horrendous. The atmosphere was usually pretty good.
Yeah, the sewer was, like, intense. Like, that was the only really, like, scary part. Actually, that one part where he unleashed all the pigs in London, that killed any of the scariness of those pigs.
Yeah, that wasn't really... Yeah.
It just became just a game at that point. You're like, okay, I just gotta beat the system at this point. It's not like I'm surviving anymore. It's like I've gotta go kick ass.
Yeah.
Which kind of, in my opinion, defeated the purpose of, like... Like, the other Amnesia was pretty much scary all the way up to the end, so...
Yeah.
Even though he had, like, a goal to go kill the guy.
Kind of jumped the shark a little bit.
Yeah. Way too much pig metaphors, even for something called Machine for Pigs.
Pigs, 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 I please. More pig, more pig. Little piggy.
Higgledy-piggledy.
Pigs, offering now, pigs. We are the pig, Professor. We are all the pig. A machine for pigs.
Trotters?
And they feel no pain. The process is completely humane.
Humane? Livestock and Bibles. Tone it down a little bit, and I think it would have been more effective.
Like, you've jumped Animal Farm and gone way fucking... Like, you make Animal Farm look like a very vague reference.
Yeah, like... Less pig masks. Like, have the pig masks drop at one point or something. Like, cut out maybe, like, almost all of those except maybe 10 of the instances you see masks or something.
Yeah.
And then, like, keep the creepy statues. That was funny. Like, the stained glass windows were fine, but, like, it's like pig this, pig that, piglets. Ugh.
The cages on the beds, never explained.
Yeah,
ever.
I don't...
Like, is it, like, to protect them from the pigs in case they come... up through the bowels of the machine, up through the mansion, and into the bedroom. Like, what? Like, and there were no cages in, like, the attic or whatever, where the kids were.
How did we lose our memory in the first place? And it was explained in the first game. We drank a potion. I mean, contrived as it is.
Yeah, like, fair enough.
This one is like, oh, there's a saboteur, and I'm like, well, obviously he's the saboteur, but okay. And then he, like, goes through it, and I'm like, oh, I'm the saboteur, how could I have forgotten? And you didn't know he killed his own children.
Yeah, like the old, you are the bad guy, sort of been there, done that.
I wouldn't have minded if there was a little more explanation, like...
Yeah.
Kind of expected that, and I don't really mind that, like, especially since he tries to redeem himself in the end, but...
Yeah, like, it's fine, it's just, like... I don't know. It was such a main thing of the last Amnesia, and it was kind of cool and not quite novel, but a little different. And then to do the exact same thing again, it didn't go off into mystical bullshit land, but it kind of went off into sci-fi bullshit land, which is, you know, it's fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as scary as the first one. Although when we're like hiding from pigmen, like earlier. That was pretty good.
This one was a lot easier, too. Like, some of the puzzles in Amnesia actually took a little more time to kind of figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And I like the suspense building in this game as well. It did that very well, like the first one. Like, you don't really see things until, like, a little while in. And there's way too much sound effects and music, I think, because it was just, like, constant. And then finally when we had that silent spot, I'm like, oh, wow. It's silent. I'm like, that's kind of a... refreshing breath of air. It's like there's all this noise and stuff being thrown at you 100% of the time. I'm just like,
yeah, but I still thought it was better than the first one for that.
Yeah,
like, because there wasn't always music and stuff. There was a lot of places where it just kind of let let the scene play without this sort of underlying music. Towards the end, it really went high on the music.
Holy shit, what's with the music? This is kind of overly dramatic, actually. It's quite funny.
I'm ripping what is actually a respectable performance.
I still find it creepy. I just like, okay, shit's going down. Shit's getting real. That's all this means to me.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a lovely elevator ride.
Yeah, it was like elevator music.
Christ, what is this place?
Yeah, graphics. Yeah, I think they were pretty good.
About on par with the last game, a bit better.
Yeah, which
I liked the motion is way easier in this game. Like the controls and stuff was like a lot more smooth. Like opening and closing doors, like shoving things open, closing doors.
Yeah.
Rather than last game, I remember like close the door, I can't close the door. Oh my god! And then things would like burst through.
Yeah.
The pigs never like broke down doors.
no, they were a little less
Aggressive.
threatening sometimes than the other Mr. Flappyjaw.
I hear explosions and screaming. That's a good sign.
Dog.
Oh, come on! What the heck? Holy shit! There's something there! Why? I don't want to do that. Holy shit!
Fucking Christ!
I can't see anything!
I just fucked us into a corner. Oh, I'm gonna turn on my lantern, he's gonna be right there!
I don't hear anything.
Ah! Oh, it's Rape Pig!
Ah! To your left, yeah. Okay.
Once!
No, I told myself I wasn't gonna get freaked out today, but I'm totally freaked out.
Ah! Shit! Why did you come up behind me? Holy fuck! Ah, he's killing me! Shit!
I can't open the door! Shut the door! Shut the door! Fuck!
Okay, okay, run! Fucking run! What the fuck? What? How did they get behind us? How the fuck did they get behind us? Shit! And our lantern wasn't doing the thing, was it?
No.
It was just like we were just minding our own business, and then all of a sudden there's like a mummy, bloody, weird pig. Was it all bandaged or something?
I don't even know. It was. Ooh. I need a second.
I thought they were fairly scary most of the game. Because
Yeah,
pig noises aren't very pleasant.
No.
Because they're like grunty and shuffly and so.
Yeah, no, it had a good reveal when we finally like saw the monster and stuff like that. It was freaky.
Yeah.
Having him pop up right behind us with no warning, that was freaky.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
Water
Monster went nowhere. It was pretty pointless.
Yeah, I guess if you didn't run in that one spot, it would have bit you, but...
That's about it. Like, it
Yeah.
really... It didn't have any sort of purpose, because the only monster in it was these pig dudes.
Yeah.
So, there was no reason for a water monster to be there. At least in the other one, it was like, okay, it's another formless, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not like a piglet running around under the water there. Like, it was really...
Yeah, it was probably just a throwback to the first game,
a
like you
really
said.
pointless, shameless, useless throwback.
There's a few throwbacks to the last game, though, because they mention, like, in a bunch of notes and stuff, like, the old game and stuff like that, and like, oh, yeah, this compound from this place. That didn't go anywhere either, it was just, like,
No,
random stuff.
It didn't, like...
I should look up all the notes and stuff and see if they fit together a bit better, because, like, all of the notes were really random, too. You'd have, like, one in May, and then you'd get one, like, in December, 2 days before the present day, and then it would be, like...
Yeah.
Like, everything, I'm assuming everything happened in one day for this game? Like,
I have no
24
idea.
hour span or whatever? because it was supposed to be like New Year, and I think the last diary entry we got or found was December 29th, which means that there was like 2 days between that. So he probably like sabotaged the machine those 2 days.
Maybe.
And forgot about it?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
understand that. Like, how did he forget?
And I'm pretty sure that voice all along was the machine. Because that was even in the credits.
Yeah.
The machine and the professor. So it was him.
There was
talking.
a guy in the machine, but... Like, there's that one scene where there's, like, the guy lying in the bed or whatever. But
Yeah, I don't know what that was supposed to...
I thought, like, he was, like, the one who had been, like, incorporated in the machine, and then he was the machine or whatever. Which would explain how the guy could, like, continuously phone call you and knew where you were. But at the same time, that could have just been
I
him
think
being
that
nuts,
was
but...
him being insane. I think that was just him being batshit crazy. Maybe that was one of the children, and the other one was skewered up on the thing. I have no idea. It was still very cryptic.
I think both the children were screwed there. Like, if you look to the
Yeah,
left,
I
I think
don't
there was
know.
another one.
It didn't let me look around very much.
No.
Yeah, it was okay overall.
Yeah. Had some really good parts and then
Yeah.
some really parts. All
It
the
was-
continuous crashing was annoying.
Yeah, so I'd say it was less scary than the first one, but it was okay.
Why did he kill the professor guy? He seemed very interested in
I
it.
have no idea. I really don't, like... I don't know, maybe I'm just stupid, but I didn't follow the plot of this one, like, at all.
Yeah.
At least the last one, I kind of, okay, he went to a place, and there was a dude, and then all the dudes that were with him died, and
Yeah.
now he's, you know...
Like, yeah, the last one he went on an expedition, he like, disturbed something he shouldn't have, went back to this castle because he's like, hey, I need help because this thing is chasing me, and he's like, oh, if we kill these guys, it'll stave off the shadow for a while longer. And then it went, like, all crazy mystical. He's like, yes, we're gonna open this gate to this place and escape from the shadow because we need these orbs that the shadow wants back. And
Yeah, it went kind of around the bend at the end.
yeah,
but this
at
one
least
was,
it
like-
made sense. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm following you. It's weird,
Yeah.
but I follow.
This was some kind of, like, huge, like, socio-political commentary that was at once heavy-handed and impenetrable. Like,
yeah.
part of it was like, it was like they were trying to be...
And very disgustingly poetic.
Yeah, that was gross. Where he's like, they're trying to make some commentary. Fair enough, that's cool. Especially because it's a video game. It's an interesting medium, right?
Yeah.
But at times it was super obvious, and then when they tried to make it not super obvious, it just became, like, super cryptic bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I think they're kind of beating us over the head a little bit with the commentary.
Wind! Water!
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
And some of the stuff I wasn't even really paying attention to, because I was more concerned with, oh my god, is something coming to kill me, or, like,
Yeah.
keeping a watch out and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I missed some of the stuff. Like, when I was watching you, it was easier to, like, read the subtitles and stuff, because you were watching.
Yeah.
But-
I would rather have played this one before Outlast, because I loved Outlast.
Yeah,
Like, I thought it was really awesome. Even though it took a turn into mystic land. So yeah, it turned out that the one I was gonna kinda use to tide me over, and the one I was super looking forward to kinda switched places on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had to give an arbitrary rating out of 10.
It depends, like, what you were rating on, but, like, an overall, I'd say, like, I don't know, 6.5.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 6.
I wouldn't call it a bad game, I just wouldn't call it a super, super good game.
Yeah, like I'd say, like,
I would
you know,
say it was a decent
the
game.
first game was pretty good. Outlast that we just finished was quite good. This one was okay.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of, you know, it had a couple creepy moments, like in terms of just general creepiness, like I'm thinking of the torture evil dog room,
Yeah.
and like the fact that you could hear the barking in the distance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This one, okay, I don't think they would have been able to do it because it would have been way too controversial, but if they had more of actual pigs, an actual, like, slaughtering of pigs, or, like, evidence of pig slaughtering in the factory, or, like,
Yeah.
flashbacks of pig slaughtering, or, like, creepy...
Peter would have been all over that.
I know, like, creepy diagrams of pig slaughtering,
Oh,
and, like...
did you hear that PETA is all mad with Assassin's Creed 4 because there's wailing in it?
Yeah, no, I read that.
I was like, oh my god, seriously?
Like,
It's just a game.
Wailing is just... Like, I'd get it if they were mad at, like, I think it's like Far Cry 3 or whatever, where you, like, fashion new items out of animals that you kill with your bare hands or something, I don't know. But, like, that's just, it's just part of what went on.
It's not that the game is endorsing it, it's just part of the game.
Although I love their reply where they're like, they don't endorse whaling or general poor hygiene or something like that. They had a really funny response.
Oh yeah, they were saying like, yeah, we don't endorse piracy either or something like that. It's like,
yeah.
So,
yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say.
Ouch.
It's just kind of okay.
Yeah.
We got some good scares out of it. Mm-hmm. Kind of, it wasn't everything I hoped it would be, but it was more or less what I expected.
Yeah. You know, it kind of felt like a full conversion mod of the first game to me.
Yeah.
Kind of like upgraded graphics, like new music and characters and stuff like that. It felt shorter. Well, it was shorter.
Yeah.
Like, it took less time for us to play it. I think that was like 5 hours.
Yeah. And I also think
4
like
hours even.
Towards the end of Amnesia, you were constantly hounded by these monsters.
Yeah.
Whereas towards the end of this one,
the pigs are like, eh.
Yeah, they all just kind of ran loose and it became a little silly.
Yeah.
Like, if you just been going towards, like, the depths or whatever, and there were just pig dudes just, like, shadowing your every step, would have been fucking terrifying.
Next time we got an electro rave pig.
Yeah, that
was hilarious.
That was... It was like Tron Pig. It was Tron Pig. And it was... Like, what? Like, what the fuck? I gotta go take another look at him, because I swear he had, like, Tron armor stuff on him with, like, rave, ultraviolet, black light type glow sticks strapped all over him. That was weird. So, in general, I think interesting concept, mediocre execution, sweet soundtrack.
Yeah, the music and sound's actually in it pretty good.
Yeah, like
my only complaint with the sound is there's just way too much of it sometimes.
Yeah, but you're in a machine.
I know, it makes sense. I just, like, sometimes, like, there was, like, the machine sounds, and then there was, like, kind of a background music, and then there was kind of, like, any other sounds that might be there, like the pigs, or, like, people talking, or whatever. Like, sometimes there's just too much. Like, that's why that silence, that one part, I noticed it so well, just because, like, it's never been this silent.
It's funny, because the whole time, I was like, I'm really happy that they went in this direction, because it's a lot quieter than having the music all the time in Amnesia.
I guess
there were more sound effects, but then there were no real sound effects to hear in the first one. Maybe that's why it sounded louder to me.
Well, yeah, the first one had, like, its generic, like, music track, you know, like, every now and then, or, like, you know, you enter a new area, it was like, doo-doo-doo-doo. But, like, the sound in the first game was effective, like, even if you put it in headphones and stuff like that, like, you can really hear things around you. This one, I guess the sound in this version, or this game, sounded more real.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know.
Just the constant music in the first one just bothered me.
Maybe it would have helped if there was a bit more pacing, like if there were more silent moments
kind of
or quieter moments.
Yeah,
but that might be my only problem.
I felt like because of the shorter game, like, runtime, the pacing was a little... Like, for what it was fine. Yeah. It just could have done more if it were longer.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like, for all the delays and stuff, it just didn't really live up to, like, it's no, like, Duke Nukem, but it just feels like I wanted more.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
Okay.
Well,
now
we're going in circles.
So we turned all those valve things.
Valve?
Yeah, like the circle.
I think you mean valve.
Valve? It's just
the valve? What kind of word is valve? That's not even like...
It means the same thing as valve.
I don't believe you.
It's a different vowel pronunciation.
I don't think so. I don't think that's...
It's like vase and vase.
I don't think that's legit, though. I think that's like you...
What, volatile? They look like they use, or almost do you look like.
I know.
These
So I guess they are
highly
bulbs.
corrosive. Wear protection.
Is that why you kept saying bulbs?
No, I just...
See, now I have to find out if Volv is a word. I know when I type it in, all I'm gonna get is
Like
vulva.
VALVE.
All I'm gonna get is it's gonna go, did you mean vulva?
Oh, this looks nice.
Okay, from what I can tell, Volve is French for vulva.
Well, there you go. And I didn't.
So yeah, you turn that Volve, Cheryl.
Oh, I see a valve over there. Not a valve, a valve.
I forgot to look that up.
Yeah, I looked it up. It's okay. It's totally not a thing. It's
That's
just me
what
being
I-
dumb. Ugh, it's silly. Okay, I got this.
Yeah, I really don't like the lack of inventory system and the fact that, like, that your lantern is always and can always be on.
Yeah.
That kills a lot of what made the first Amnesia scary because you have to conserve your shit, and then that encourages you to search every nook and find creepy things.
Yeah.
Because there's tinderboxes and oil you have to get.
Oh, you know what would have been really cool for this?
What?
Is like if you went into a section of the machine and the power just completely cut.
Yeah.
And then it was just darkness.
And silence.
And silence. That would have been good. I would have liked that.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I
maybe-
wouldn't have liked it, but I think it would have been good for the ad.
Yeah. So I get that it was like sort of steampunky, and that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I didn't like that there was nothing to find.
Yeah.
It felt more railroad and less interactive, just because you were just following along
Yeah.
and just getting through places instead of exploring and looking for clues and looking for
Interacting with
story.
objects.
Yeah, and just like picking shit up and moving it and making box sports and just kind of like expressing yourself through the game
Yeah.
and stuff like that, instead of just like, you can pick up this but not that.
Yeah.
You cannot play with the skull this time because fuck you. You don't get to. Like, it just feels like they didn't. Like, it doesn't feel half finished, but it feels like half of its potential
Yeah.
in so many ways.
Yeah.
Like, give us back the inventory, give us back some of the exploration. Like, the castle was big,
Yeah.
and you could go whatever way you want. Like,
Until the
within
jam
reason.
stopped. Really.
Yeah, like you could, you know what I mean? Like, you could choose to go one way or the other first,
Yeah.
and both ways had something. There was, mazes of tunnels and stuff like
yeah,
that.
like rooms with like tinder boxes to find, or like other items you needed to put things together.
Yeah, so this one was just kind of like, you go A, B, C, maybe A, or like A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, like, it's just sort of all on one path,
Yeah.
and you find the stuff you're meant to find, and you go the places you're meant to go,
Yeah.
and the stuff happens that's meant to happen, and there's
Yeah.
nothing to find.
It would have been fun if there's more stuff to break, and then there's more
Yeah.
consequences to breaking the stuff. Like, there was always a way out and stuff like that in there, but like, if there, like, you break something and it releases all the cages, and then all of a sudden you're running away from like 5 pigmen or something like that. Like, they're all down different corridors, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oops. Yeah, so I think it lost that sort of exploration, that sort of need to conserve resources and whatever, so that,
Yeah.
like, you wouldn't be, because you're, like, afraid of the dark, of being alone in the dark and whatever, so you want to have your lamp out, but you can't because you're burning oil.
Yeah.
So in this one, we just ran around with the lantern on, whether we needed it or not,
Yeah.
because you're never going to run out, it's fine.
Well, not only that, like, the lantern too is like your kind of like indicator through, especially if there's no other lights around, that there's like something near.
Yeah.
Plus, what was I gonna say about that?
Well, it's a little artificial.
Oh yeah, the first game was interesting because you had to like balance between going crazy and like the monster finding you. So like if you have your light on, the monster's gonna like know where you are. If you have your light off and you should get scared, the monster's not gonna know where you are. So you need to run and hide in places that you can kind of balance between the
Yeah,
two.
like, not going batshit crazy from being in the dark. Huge fucking, like, thank God they took that out.
Yeah,
But,
but it still had an interesting mechanic. It's like, yeah, you've gotta like
it drove me
balances and
crazy.
stuff
Like,
that.
really the perfect balance would be just being low on fuel. like needing to find tinderboxes and stuff like that, but also needing to conserve them because you're screwed if you don't have any. Whereas this one is just like,
it was kind of like Outlast, so you needed the batteries, and sometimes
Yeah.
you ran low on batteries, and like you could still see with the night vision a little bit if you had low
Yeah.
battery, but
not
it was not well enough to be like
much.
walking along, and then all of a sudden a guy would be in your face. You're like, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one other thing I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was. Tinderboxes, lantern. Oh yeah, it was like having the lantern be your indicator of a monster was really too artificial for me. Like in Amnesia, like the first one, rather, like sometimes you just kind of stumbled upon him.
Yeah.
And like when you saw him, he would go like bruh, and you'd be like, oh fuck. But usually that wasn't until you were right up his ass.
Yeah, you were really close to him, and he'd be like, hello, I'm
Yeah.
coming out.
Whereas otherwise you were just creeping alone in the dark.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is like teet teet, and you're like, oh shit, now we can avoid him because we know he's there. So it was. They went forward, they went backward, and they went sideways.
Actually, even if they didn't have the flickering lights, like they took that out completely, you'd still be able to hear like the footsteps and his winkiness.
And
so.
that would be cool. Because you'd be like, shit, I hear him.
Yeah, and then his like indicator could be like wee or something like that,
Yeah.
and he'd come after you or like some other creepy pig sound.
Yeah, and that would be scary.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, any final remarks?
Not really. Sewer freaked me out, but other than that, you know, at the end I was just like video game mode.
Yeah, totally.
Beat the game.
It was okay. Some improvements, some things they shouldn't have taken out.
Yeah.
Some things they had a lot of room to explore and they didn't.
I'm looking forward to see people do mods with this.
Yeah, there'll probably be some good ones.
If it's like really easy to mod and stuff like that, I'm like, excited to see what people can do with it. 'Cause some people make like pretty frickin' awesome mods.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Oh, and the voice acting, once again, terrible. Daddy says there won't be a Christmas this year. He's much too busy. Nanny says we must not. We must not? The text is. Yeah, it says not, but it looked like not.
Oh.
Disturb him. He is ever so busy. He is gone for work before she wakes us, and often we are asleep before he returns. We found a bird in the garden with a broken wing. We gave it to Nanny. Said it was a filthy thing, and hit it with a rolling pin. That's creepy. Later, we crept downstairs to bury the body when everyone was asleep. There was a pig in the garden. We heard it snuffling about. Then Daddy came and said we had to come inside straight away. He was furious, but we think he'd been crying again. Did you enjoy my narration? A Bible! But we can't... No, Bibles aren't fun if you can't pick them up and throw them at water monsters.
Fetch!
That was awesome. Slightly better than last game.
Slightly,
But-
not by a lot. Like, seriously, like, shell out $50 for someone who's taken a couple acting classes. Or, like, tape the mouth of the director shut and let the fucking actors act. Because, like, you can convey, like deadness of emotion without being, like, someone's, like, puppeteering a corpse. Like, fucking...
Yeah.
Put some emotion into your emotionlessness. It can be done.
I didn't mind the voice of the machine, but
Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah.
His and his was okay.
Yeah.
His was reasonable until he started to try to be all like, I am dead to the world.
Well, that was Mandus though.
That's what I mean. Okay?
Yeah.
But towards the end, like the latter half of the game, it sucked. Where are my children? Like it was just yeah. So he was okay at the start. And then it went terrible. The children were terrible.
This way, Daddy.
I think the professor was okay. I can't remember.
I think he sounded like he had like an American accent or something.
You know, I think the best voice actor in
Professor
the whole
A.
thing was the Pigman. He did a great job.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they could have been more menacing if there were more if the periods of time that you had to sort of sneak around them and stuff were longer. They were
Yeah.
fairly short.
Yeah.
You didn't encounter them for too long, like too much, like you did Mr. Flappyjaw.
Yeah.
You had extended battles with him, like
Yeah.
running around a huge entire area, and they're running around like, you know, they're
They're
schlepping
chasing
around
you,
down
yeah.
there. Whereas this one, it was kind of like, here is a section where he is. You have now passed that section. You are fine.
Yeah.
You are now entering another section where it is. It's very, very linear,
Yeah.
and I didn't like that.
I remember them saying like they were intending the monsters and stuff to be more unpredictable, like not as scripted and stuff like that. So it's not like, oh, you complete a puzzle, you're gonna have a monster behind you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they sort of did that in that way, but like a lot of the stuff seemed to be like, okay, this is how this one dude works. If we do this, then we can get away from him and get to the next section, and he won't be able to follow us through this.
Yeah. So, yeah, they took away the monster spawning after every puzzle. Good job. Nice move.
Yeah.
The rest of the monster stuff, yeah, yeah, so I'm kind of disappointed, but reasonably satisfied. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was worth the money. Yeah, we got that much enjoyment out of it. It was fun to play.
Yeah.
So what more could you ask for, really?
Yeah.
Well, quite a bit, actually. I mean, it's not like it was a $60 game.
No.
So for that, you know,
and it had a large enough audience too. A lot of people probably got it, and probably have been pissed off in one way or another.
But they still bought it.
They still bought it, and they probably all still played it, and they probably all still liked something from it. So
yeah. So, and you know what? It's not like every other shooter game ever, all the time, Gears of War, whatever.
Yeah.
It's something different. It's fucking trying to be horror, and it sort of succeeds. It more or less succeeds, and that's pretty rare to find a really good horror game.
Yeah.
So at least it tried really hard. In some places it was very successful.
Yeah.
In other places it was just trying really hard. So yeah.
I liked the hammy bits, like the really cheesy parts. Like those are the perfect things to just ease the tension, like a second. Like even if it's not intended, I'm just like, thank you, Amnesia. That was just what I needed right now.
Yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, you lose me. Then you'll be left alone. Oh, baby, telephone and tell me I'm your own.
So, I will give it a... out of a possible...
Your review is a lot more entertaining than mine. 6.5.
Yeah, so it's a... And how would you rate it using my clapometer? Oh, you're very impressed. That's that 0.5 that you gave it over me. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so thanks for watching, viewer. Yeah. I'm on your channel. I'm a guest. A special guest. Can I be billed as a special guest?
Sure.
Awesome. Okay,
You're a special guest. I thought you were just one of the crew.
aww. And on that heartwarming note.
Why do we even have that lever?